10 events, 2 days, 1 athlete. How's it going, everybody? So to those of you who do not know me, my name is Avery Fraley, and I'm a track and field athlete at the University of Louisville, and this is my first video. So I made this channel because I wanted to document my process as a track and field athlete here at Louisville, as well as document the journey that I'm going through with this most recent injury. But first off, while you watch some clips of me competing, I'd like to recap my track and field career, let's say. So I started running track my sophomore year of high school, and it was mainly to get faster for football. And sophomore year went pretty good. Learned that I was decent at a couple of events that a buddy of mine got me into. Went to states and competed decently. And junior year kind of went the same. Not a lot of progress, but there was some progress in some events. And junior summer to senior summer was kind of where everything went downhill when it came to health-wise. I fractured my growth plate in my hip in a meet during the summer and was out for about 3 months. And then coming back into football season my senior year, I actually got cleared on a Monday, and on that Tuesday I broke my foot. Kind of worked through it, and it made it worse. And come to find out, I had fractured my midfoot. And then finally, I was about to get back off the horse after about 6 weeks. And 3 days before I got cleared from being in a cast and a boot for 6 to 8 weeks, I had an emergency appendectomy, which was just fantastic. And then coming off of that recovery wasn't too long, but coming off that, I was very weak. I had not trained in a very long time. And so I was kind of antsy about getting back into it. And because of my weakness in my ankles and my legs, I had multiple low avulsion fractures and low injuries, as well as a lot of pain in my left foot. So then leading into my freshman year of college, I dealt with some of that residual pain and was told, that to make it better, I just had to wait and, rest. But I didn't really have time to rest. So I kept working through the pain, and dealt with a good bit of it. And then finally, coming to the end of my indoor season, my freshman year, I entered the transfer portal, and that gave me some time to rest and fully heal up properly. I wasn't training as hard, and I wasn't doing as much stuff. So I fully got healthy at the beginning or the end of my second semester of college and leading into the summer in between freshman and sophomore year. Then this is kind of where everything goes downhill again. So end of the summer, I was working out, doing well, and went to school here at Louisville. First couple weeks were doing pretty good, and just getting back into the gist of training and doing a lot of stuff. And that's when I started having back pain. And about 2 or 3 weeks of having back pain, I realized that it wasn't just soreness. So I went and got a couple scans, and then I got a couple more scans and a couple more scans. And finally, they figured out that I had a bilateral pars fracture, which they told me either quit track, work through it, or get surgery. And considering how much pain I was in just doing modified practices, I figured I had to get surgery for it. And the surgery recovery time was anywhere from 6 to 9 months before I could start training again. So it was a heartbreaker, because I knew that I'd have to redshirt my indoor season and burn my outdoor season my sophomore year. So it was a mental battle leading into it, but I knew it was something that I had to do. So October 28th, the day after my birthday, I got surgery, and I had a spinal fluid leak. So I spent a couple of days in the hospital just waiting for that to kind of patch up. And then shortly after, I went home, and that night I wasn't feeling great. I had a really bad headache, and that morning I was running a really bad fever, about a 103 fever. So went back to the ER and figured out that the leak had not stopped, and that I also could possibly have spinal meningitis. So I got loaded up with loads of antibiotics, got sent into the neuro ICU, and spent 2 weeks in the neuro ICU, where the first week of it was barely memorable. I really just was in so much pain that I couldn't process really what was going on. I was sitting in a room with no windows, lights off, towel over my head, towel over the door, and it was no fun. But we came out of that. I had 2 weeks that I spent in ICU and the hospital, and about 2 weeks that I spent under the care of my family, especially my mom. Thank you, Mom. And then after that, I had to go back to school. and that was very hard. I only had about 2, 3-ish weeks before finals, and I missed a month of schoolwork. So getting back into getting all that schoolwork done was really a mental battle for me, and I spent a lot of nights really struggling with it. But I got that work done. Only got a couple more tests to do this semester, and then I'm finishing up from last semester, which it sucks, but and I've been doing some PT. Christmas break was great, and I'm healing up well. I don't really have much pain or uncomfortableness in my back. I really am just struggling with mobility, laying in bed for so long and not running, not doing any exercises, really stiffens up your hamstrings and your legs. So been fighting through that, but yeah. To give you a little bit of a background about myself, I'm a mechanical engineering major here at the University of Louisville. And growing up, I spent 12 years of my life, from about 5 to 17, racing dirt bikes. So I've dealt with injury throughout a lot of my life, a lot of hospital visits, been airlifted, couple couple different hospital trips in an ambulance. But throughout it all, it wasn't anything serious because I never really thought heavily that I was going to race for a career. And I never thought that I would be doing a sport in college either until about my junior year of high school, where I received my first offer from East Carolina University, where the coach took a chance on me, and I really appreciate him for that. So through this channel, I want to kind of share my recovery process, and kind of spread the awareness that you're going to get injured and you're going to get better, and even if you don't get better, life moves on. So through this, I'm going to try and vlog throughout some of my track and field career, as well as document this recovery process. I have scans that I'm getting at the end of January, and hopefully that will clear me to start doing a couple more things, such as like run training and underwater training and some other stuff, starting to be able to lift weights again, which would be really nice. Um, Unfortunately, I will not be able to compete outdoor, maybe unattached over the summer, but I should be able to start training around that April mark. On top of sharing my journey through my recovery as well as just track and field in itself, I also want to grow my personal brand as an athlete and grow the publicity of track and field itself. As you guys know, track and field is not a very public sport. It's televised sometimes in big meets, but not a lot of people watch track and field, and a lot of people, me included, I think track and field is very interesting. It's crazy to see what the human body can do and the abilities that all these very good athletes have. So over these next 3 years, I hope to share hopefully a lot of accomplishments with you guys, as well as my goals and just my weekend meets and just everyday life as a track and field athlete here at Louisville. And I want to share, that progress isn't something that happens overnight. This stuff happens, one day at a time, and the consistent work is something that makes you consistently improve at everything. And, I know God has a plan for me, and that this injury isn't the end of my journey as an athlete or as a person, and that I will not let this hold me down. So I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be trying to post regularly or somewhat regularly. And if you want to, you can hit that subscribe button. But thank you guys. Y'all have a wonderful day.